Hi, everybody. My name is Ben Baker. My company is Your Brand Marketing. And here's some more tips for leaders on how to communicate successfully remotely. Now, you've sent your teams home. I get that. Now, the hard part begins. It's being able to communicate effectively to a team that's diversified, that's all over the place. They could be all over the city. They could be all over the state. They could be all over the province. They could be all over the world. And it's a matter of looking at it going, okay, how do we communicate effectively? How do we allow these people to feel that they're successful? How do we allow these people to be, in touch with you and with each other in a way that's meaningful, that's effective, that's engaging, and allows them to feel that they're part of the team? Because right now, over the next couple weeks is going to be the most challenging. It's getting everybody settled in. It's getting everybody to realize that they're in this for the long haul, that this is not going to be a day or two. This could be weeks. This could be months. This could be more than months. And it's a matter of getting people to realize that this is a new normal for the time being, that they're not going to be able to come back to the office, that they're not going to be able to see their fellow workers, that they're not going to be able to have that team time that they really enjoy, and they're going to feel isolated and they're going to feel alone. And some of them are going to feel depressed. And it's a matter of putting together some strategies that are going to allow them to be successful as you move forward. Because you know what? They don't know what's coming. They have no idea. Is my job safe? Just because I've been sent home today, what happens if the company starts losing money? Is there going to be mass layoffs? And if so, what does that mean? How are they going to be taken care of? What is going to happen as the economy becomes a little bit more unsteady, as business becomes a little bit more unsteady? They're not sure of what's happening, and they need reassurance that, you know what, you're being taken care of. You're part of the team, that you're here, we're going to work together, and we're going to work our way through it. And, if those layoffs do come, then we need to work through that as well. We need to have conversations about how that's going to be managed and what the opportunities are in terms of seeing if there's ways to be able to put people on some type of government subsidy, topping up salaries and keeping them around. So when business does turn around, when people do go back to work in 3 to 6 months, that you're going to be able to hire them back effectively. But that's a conversation for another time. Now, the conversation today is about communication. And it can't be one way. It has to be two-way. There has to be as much listening, if not more listening, than there is speaking. Because it's about understanding what does your team need, because they're not all in one place and they're not all seeing the same thing at the same time. So the more we can bring the teams together, the more we can have effective communication, the better it is. Now, sometimes meetings, and I'm not saying your company, I'm not saying every company, but a lot of companies, when the meetings occur, it's one or two people that get the majority of the time, and everybody else just sits there in the corner quietly. Now is a time to fix that. Now is a time to make sure that every single person is heard, every single person is understood, every single person is valued, and they know that they are part of the team. Now, a great way to do this, and Seth Godin mentioned this morning, is to use Zoom. The neat thing about Zoom, and there's other technologies that probably do the same thing, but I know Zoom, is they create Zoom rooms. So if you've got a team of 25, 50, 100, 200, 500 people, instead of having it as a one-to-many conversation, what you can do is you can have a 5 or 6 minute entry, just say, hey, listen, here's the state of affairs. What do you guys think? Let's put you guys in some small rooms and have you guys talk about it for a bit. And you hit the Zoom room button. And what you can do is you can say you could have up to 50 rooms. So if you've got 150 people, you put in 50 rooms, you could have 3 people in a room or 6 people in a room or whatever. You can figure out how many people you want in a room based on how many rooms you put out there. That way there's small conversations. People can talk for 8 or 10 minutes amongst themselves, have a real conversation of what they think, what's going on. Then you can bring everybody back and you can sit there and say, okay, somebody tell me what happened in the particular groups, what happened within the groups. Let's talk about it. And you have different groups being able to discuss what their thought process are and bring that all together. You can ask another question, send them off again, have the conversation come back. And therefore there's room for those small conversations. And the neat thing about it is when you hit the Zoom room, it's random. So they may have people that they know in the room. They may have people they don't know in the room. And if they're with the same people in one room, they may not be with the same people in the second room. So it allows for a better engagement. It allows for distribution of ideas and distribution of thoughts and distribution of conversations. It's important. It's important for the teams to be able to communicate effectively. It's important to build in the vehicles to let people know, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I'm not sure what to do here. How do I do this? Because there's going to be a lot of firsts that are going to come up, both for you as a leader and also for your teams. And the more you can talk about it, the more you can work through it, the more you can sit there and say, okay, this may work for these team members, but it doesn't work for these team members. And that's okay. We need to be able to be a little bit more flexible based on people. What's the realistic situation at home? That's okay too. So the trick is, the more you can listen, the more you can check in, the more conversations you can enable between the team, the more team time conversations you can have, the more engagement you can have, the more, check-ins you can have, the better off it is both for you and for your team to be able to gel as a unit and realize that even though you're not all in the same place, even though you all can't reach out and touch each other, you guys are all in it together. And that's what people need to do. They need to feel that they're listened to, they're understood, and they are valued. And as long as every single team member feels listened to, understood, and valued, they're going to remain engaged. They're going to want to stay with the company. They're going to want to do the best thing for the company in the short term and the long term. And the more you can build that practice in today, the more loyal clients you're going to have long term, the better customer experience they're going to provide, either remotely or when they're back as a team, and the more loyal your customers are going to be because of it. So let's take the time. Let's figure out what are some communication schedules, what are some communication ideas that are going to work for you. Work it out amongst your teams. What's going to work for me is not going to work for you. So you need to talk to your people and sit there and say, how often do you want to meet? How long do you want to meet for? What can I send out as a pre-information to sit there and say, okay, this is what we're going to talk about. So it's not just an information dump. Maybe you send out a quick video just like this and say, hey, listen, this is what we're going to sit down and talk about. So when we get in the Zoom rooms, it's actually a conversation. They have the time, they can mull it over, they can think about it, then they can sit there and say, oh, okay, I know what we can do, and here's some conversations, and here's some ideas we can have. So it's a matter of looking at things differently. That's what this is all about. It's an opportunity for businesses to get creative, to be able to realize who the true leaders are within the company and where the communication is great and where the communication is flawed, and be able to make it better. Again, my name is Ben Baker. My company is Your Brand Marketing. Whatever we can do to help you through this crisis, please get in touch with me. You can reach me at 604-512-7174 or through my website at yourbrandmarketing.com.